Continuing where I left off. And here, an unbelievable story reached our ears, that Helenus, the son of Priam, now ruled over cities of the Greeks. As heir to Pyrrhus' wife in power, Andronomach had found again a husband of her nation. It made me stare, and in my heart I burned with measureless desire to speak to him, to learn of that strange turn of life. So upward, inland I went, leaving the port and ships. And, as it happened, at that hour she, Andronomach, in a grove outside the city, beside a brook, then replica of Simois, was making from a ceremonial meal her offerings and libation to the dust, calling the great shade at a tomb called Hector's, made by her, an empty mound of turf where she had blessed twin altars for her tears. But when she saw me coming, saw the men around me in Trojan arms, her mind misgave, and, gazing at this ghostliness in terror, she stood there pale and rigid, till the warmth ebbed from her and she swooned. And it was long before she spoke, or barely spoke. Your face, can it be real, and you real, messenger, coming before me, goddess born, alive? Or, if sweet daylight left your eyes forever, where is my Hector? Then she wept, and filled the grove with wailing. I had difficulty forcing a few words out amid her passion. So I overcome, I felt, but murmured to her, alive, oh yes, though every mortal danger this world holds, I carry on my life. Be sure that what you see is real. Ah, tell me, since you were so bereft of such a husband, what change has come to your relief? What fortunate worthy of the wife of Hector? Andronomach, then Pyrrhus' wife and slave? She bent her head with eyes downcast and whispered, happiest of us all was Priam's daughter, the virgin pact to die at the great tomb below Troy wall of our dead enemy. She never had to bear the slave's allotment, never laid hands on a lord and master's bed. But when our native city burned, we others were shipped out through far seas. I bore the pride and insolence of Achilles' warrior's son, being brought to bed in slavery of his child. He turned then to a bride in Lacedaemon, Leda's daughter, Hermione. He made me over to Helenus, to another slave. But now Pyrrhus is dead, Orestes hot with lust for her, whom he thought stolen from him, and maddened by the Furies for split blood, caught Pyrrhus unprepared and cut him down before his father's altar. By that death, part of the kingdom passed it to Helenus. He called the plains Chanonians, the realm itself Chanonian, from the Trojan Chaon, and built a Pergamum, a citadel, called Uliums, on this ridge. As to yourself, what winds of destiny gave you this voyage? Which of the gods impelled you, all unknowing, here to our coast? What of your child, Ascanius, alive still, nourished still by the world's air, even at Troy, once thought? But does the boy remember her, the mother who was lost? And do his father and his uncle Hector stir him to to old-time valor and manliness. So she poured out her questions, all in tears, her long and vain lament, when the great soldier and son of Priam, Helenus, approached it from the town side, with many in his train. In his great joy at knowing us for kindred, he led us then to the city gate, by turns weeping and speaking. Walking along with him, I saw before me Troy in miniature, a slender copy of our massive tower, a dry booklet named Xanthus, and I pressed my body against the Scaean gate. Those with me feasted their eyes on this, our kinsman town. In spacious colonnades the king received them, and offering mid-court their cups of wine, they made liberation, while on plates of gold a feast was brought before them. That day passed it, and other days. Then sailing weather came, when canvas bellied out, filled by a south wind. Now I put questions to the seer. I said, Trojan interpreter of the gods, will you know the mind of Phoebus, know his tripod, know the Apolline laurel, know the stars, the tongue of birds, and all the signs of bird flight? Prophecy for me. As you know, the powers favored me with directions for my sailing. All the divine speech from the shrines agreed. I must find Italy, must pioneer in those far lands. The harpy called Saleno riddled the only strange and evil sign of palate famine, and the wrath of heaven. What dangers must I steer away from first? How set my course to conquer that distress? Helenus cut down bullocks at his altar with ceremony, begged the gods for peace, unbound the sacred ribbons from his head, and took me by the hand, leading me in a tingle at the overshadowing power. O Phoebus, in thy shrine. Then with oracular voice that priest addressed me. Born of the goddess, highest auspice are clearly to be seen for your seafaring. The Lord God deals out destiny, so and turns the wheel of change, so turns the world. A few things out of many shall I tell you, so you may cross the welcoming seas more safely to find harbor in Ausonia. Other details of time to come, the parquet keep from Helenus, and Saturn's daughter, Juno, will now allow him speech of these. That Italy you think so near, with ports you think to enter, ignorant as you are, lies far, past far lands, by untraveled ways. You are to make the oar bend of Trenestria, to pass Ocean waters, lakes of the underworld, the island home of Circe the Aeneid, before your walls can rise in a safe country. Here are signs for you to keep in mind. When in anxiety by a stream apart, beneath shore oaks you find the giant sow, Snow White reclining there, suckling a litter of 30 snow white young. That place will be your haven after toil, site of your town, and have no fear of table-biting times. The fates will find the way for you. Apollo will be at hand when called. But now avoid the shoreline to the west, a part of Italy lapped by the tide of our own sea. The towns are all inhabited by evil Greeks. Here the Locrians found a colony, and the Lycians Idomeneus with soldiers took the Salatine plain. Here is that town of Philocetus, captain of Meloboa, little Patellar, butt-dressed by her wall. And I'm going to leave it off there, and thank you. Thank you for following the series. Please comment below if you like this reading this time. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or just continue viewing, and I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.